So I don't know what are we talking about. I went to a lot of really horrible shows.
You went to a lot of really horrible shows.
I went to so many horrible shows that I don't even think we're gonna get to all of them.
No, we'll probably save some for another episode.
Well, we need to. There were some that Eric went to, and he's not here yet. But that's good. So I guess let's talk about the show I went to in Brooklyn.
Cool.
So I have to look up the band's name because they're ridiculous.
Like Negura Bunget or whatever.
Right. So here I just pulled it up. The band, they're from Romania.
See, I always like to try to say it before I look it up. Not because I'll be right, but because I find my own misnaming very amusing.
Yeah, so I was going to bring the ticket stub because I saved the ticket stub because that was the only way I sort of figured out what was going on during the show. Mm-hmm. But one of the bands didn't even play. It was we were so confused the whole time we were there. It took like 5 of us to figure out what was going on. But the band, the headliners, Negura Bunget, I guess. Negura Bunget. Negura Bunget. Negura Bunget. And I guess they're Romanian. But they played last, so I don't want to talk about them yet. I'm going to talk about these other bands. So the first band that played, all right, they're a New York City band. And they're called Entropy, which, like, you gotta think that name's probably taken already.
Yeah. So
people may know something about this band because the drummer is Horsehead.
Horsehead?
That dude who goes to metal shows and wears the horse head.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But the thing was, I didn't put this together right away. I met him. I was talking to him outside the show. He's actually a really nice guy. He's definitely, like metal for life. Mm. But he's a nice guy. But then someone else pointed out to me that he was the Horsehead guy, and I was like, oh, okay. So their set was weird. So Entropy, that first band, it was weird for a lot of reasons. But like the stage, it was this weird show in Brooklyn. It was at that place right next to the Music Hall Williamsburg. I don't even remember the name of the venue. Now I got to look this up. I got to look everything up about the show because it was confusing. Black Bear, the place you texted.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then they.
So for the background on this, the day of the show, we were trying to figure out if there were still tickets available because we were considering going at the last minute. What ended up happening is Rich just went to the show and got a ticket at the door, and by that point, I was like not planning to put on pants and leave my apartment. But earlier in the day, in order to check on it, I called the venue. Their voicemail was like, text us if you want a quicker response.
Faster response,
yeah. And any inquiries about tickets and stuff. So I texted them and at like 4:00, and at like 8:30, like a half hour after the show has started, I get a text back, sorry, sold out. After Rich has told me like an hour earlier, like, yeah, there's still tickets. We might be able to get them. And I'm like, which at the same time says to me, like, if I leave now, like if I get there, like.
Well, I would have bought you a ticket.
Right. Then, I could have gone. But the point is.
But I would have wanted you to come then because I was there at the venue an hour before the show, like by myself, which is how I met the drummer of this band because the only other people that were there were like the bands.
Yeah. But yeah, so then I got a text at 8:30 saying it was sold out. I really wanted to text back and be like, oh, really? Thanks for letting me know. Oh, I was halfway there. And like after the show started. No, like I would have almost preferred you just act like you didn't get the text because that was so useless to me. But anyway.
Yeah, so it was really weird because this metal show, I hadn't heard of any of these bands. And it was sold out. So either these bands are way more popular than I know, or the promoter did an amazing job. I don't know. But it was sold out, and it was packed at one point. I have a note about the crowd. Actually, let me just tell the crowd note first. There was this girl. I got a couple. This girl, she was wearing an Undertaker shirt, like Undertaker from Pro Wrestling, because I have to mention Pro Wrestling. People probably think that like my life is like heavy metal and pro wrestling because that's all. Because I talk about the two of those every time I'm on.
Well,
there is a pay-per-view today. So I'm just gonna totally derail this train.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about pro wrestling. So Sting is like now in WWF, and it's every time he does something, it's like always mysterious and a surprise because he became the Crow or whatever at some point, right?
Yeah.
And then he was the Joker. I think he's back to being the Crow. I'm not sure. I wasn't really watching a lot of wrestling when that was happening, but so he's wrestling tonight, and I think it's actually for the title. And so like there was a big deal before Hulk Hogan went on his racist rant and got like booted out and deleted from the history of the organization. When he came back not as Hollywood, but as Hulkamania, and everybody, because they weren't actually going to have him wrestle because he's too old.
Yeah.
But despite Sting being too old, they're having him wrestle anyway. But he came back as the Crow. I want him to come out like as like surfer, like 80s Sting, like that, because everything they do is like a twist, right? Yeah. It's always like, oh, like you don't know where Sting's gonna show up next, and be like surfer Sting comes out. Okay. So anyway, so this woman is wearing an Undertaker shirt, and she looks like she can't be older than 25. She might have been like 21. And I was like, now I've been known to wear a wrestling shirt to a metal show, because it's like literally the only place other than a wrestling show where you can wear a wrestling shirt. Yeah. And I haven't been to a wrestling show since I left Missouri. But I was like Undertaker shirt, and like kind of like that's it's an interesting choice for like but it was like a hipster black metal show. And she was like, yeah. And she said it like super weird. And that was like all and it wasn't because she was creeped out by me. I mean, she might have been. Yeah. But she was like on something or a lot of somethings. And I was like, a lot more is making sense right now. Okay. So then the other note was there, the bartender. So I'm like, okay, do you have any good scotch? And she's like, I have one bottle of good scotch. She had Talisker. So I was like, okay. And then she goes and gets it, and it's sealed. And I'm like, I'm the first person to ever order that, aren't I? And so I was talking to her, whatever. And then I'm sitting at the bar, and this dude, like, he orders a Budweiser. He gets a Bud, and he pays for it with a $5, and it's Brooklyn, so it's a $4 beer. So she gives him $1 back, and he just takes it back. And then I say to her, I'm like, did that dude just like, did I miss something, or did he just stiff you? And she's like, yeah, he did. So I throw her $1, and she's like, okay, thanks. Because I'm like, I'm dumb metal dude, whatever. Yeah. So then I see him go, and he buys merch. So it's not like he didn't have any money. Yeah. He's just like a jerk. Yeah. So he comes back. And
that $4 beer was almost $5, bro.
Yeah, that's a 25% markup.
Yeah, that's a little ridiculous.
But it's New York City. Yeah. So he comes back, and he orders another Budweiser, and he tries to do the same thing. And she's like, you're kind of supposed to tip me. And so he's like, yeah, I normally like wait till the end. And it's like, but you don't have a tab, so there's no end. Yeah, the only person who knows it's the end is you, and so like you can kind of just walk away from that. That's not how this works. Yeah. So anyway, so it was an interesting crowd for an interesting show. Okay, so Entropy, Horseheads band. All right, so okay, this is another point. Every band on this bill was they weren't. It wasn't like we're a death metal band. They were like, we're progressive atmospheric black metal band. Like there was at least 3. Then that actually, here, I'm going to look up the thing. Okay, these guys were melodic blackened death metal. Wow. Okay, so my note for their style was metal by numbers. So I'm not really sure what they mean by melodic blackened death metal.
But were any of those numbers from how to do black metal or death metal?
I don't know.
Or melodic metal.
It might have been one number, 6, just like 3 times.
6 3 times.
6 3 times. That was kind of their number. I mean, they just kind of sounded like a thrash band, but like, I don't know, but not really.
What kind of vocals?
They had both.
Okay.
So they had because they had a lead singer, and then the lead guitar player. You could tell there was this one dude, like it was like his band, and he'd written everything, and he was like 5 feet tall, and he had this weird haircut where so he had long hair, but then it was parted on the side, but it was parted like right at his like widow's peak, or like so it was like it looked like he was balding even though he wasn't, and then it was over. It's hard to explain. He looked ridiculous. And so he would sing some of the time. So they would split between the two. So there's like 5 dudes in this band, and the stage is like, it's not a tiny stage for New York. It's a decently sized stage, but they set up like too far to the left. So the bass player's like not in the lights. So it's like the 4 of them are on stage and you can see them, and then the bass player's like hugging the wall, and there's no lights
shrouded
on him.
in darkness.
Yeah, right. They're so evil. He was shrouded in darkness. And then the lead singer guy, he at some point decided to like get up close to the crowd or something. And so he stepped forward out of the lights. I was like, you guys you don't know how the stage thing works. So anyway, it was weird, but they were just so bland. There's not really anything to say. They were just like a metal band. Like they could play. It wasn't like, oh, you guys know how to play, but they were just like a boring metal band.
Well, and we've had that conversation a few times. I don't think on the podcast yet though, about bands telling you, we're this kind of metal, and I'm like, okay, cool. Let's hear you. And then you listen to it and you're like, I don't think you guys know what any of those words mean, because what you sound like is a different thing, and we should start like keeping a database and go see all like the New York local metal bands and write down like what they say they are and then what they actually are. And then you can get a free copy of it if you sign up for our mailing list. That'll be the decoder index for New York metal bands.
The unfortunate thing about this is I know that we are way too lazy and not dedicated to do that.
Well, plus I don't want to see every local New York metal band.
But for the show, I want to see a lot of the bands that we see that we end up talking about on here.
Yeah.
But actually, contrary to that, so there was one good band on this show. The next band, they were called Hercyn, I guess, like Hercyn. They describe themselves as progressive / atmospheric black metal. So these guys knew how to play. I guess like the best. There's not really a good point of comparison, which that should be a sign that like they were a good band. But I would say you'd probably be into it if you were into like Isan or Endon. Endon is like a Japanese like noise / metal band. Probably not a lot of people heard of them. These guys don't really sound like it, but it's kind of that thing. I feel like if you were into Endon, you'd probably be into Hercyn. So they were actually good. They have that sound kind of like they just need to stick with it. In a year or two, they could be awesome.
Yeah.
So right now, it sounds like maybe they're still trying to flesh things out, but that was cool. So I don't know if this band's like Dinfari or Dinfari or Grime God. I'm not sure, because one of those bands canceled. And so Ivan, he said he thought they were Dinfari or Dinfari, whatever. Of course, I could have looked this up, but that would have been way too much effort. But I think they were Grime God, because something that'll become clear when we talk about the next band. Okay. So Grime God describe themselves as doom - death / psychedelic / down tempo. Okay. So my note on this is Catatonia. Like they wanted to be Catatonia. They really wanted to be Catatonia. But like they also listened to ISIS. But they had this thing. So okay, they just would change. So you know how Catatonia just has that like da na 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 na, like they just play on the pulse, right? It's like Philip Glass or something, but heavy metal. But they would just play. They would play, and then they would change chords on the one. So every time it's like da na 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 change na 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 change, and you're just like, if this mid-tempo metal could get a little more predictable, because I'm really lost. Like, yeah, it was really bad. And then the one guitar player, he looked like Peter Dinklage, the dude from Game of Thrones, like the midget from Game of Thrones. Or I don't. I'm sorry,
person.
I readily admit I do not know what the politically correct term is. I'm not trying to.
I think it's supposed to be little person, but I really don't see how that's supposed to be better.
I don't know. I don't understand. I think the whole deal is you're supposed to call people what they want to be called.
Right.
So I don't know. So yeah. So Peter Dinklage, but like
diminutive American,
but taller. But he had the same face, and again, he had a weird haircut too.
Yeah.
This dude, it was the night of weird haircuts at Black Bear. So that was weird. And then, so they were like totally forgettable. But there was actually a huge crowd at that point. Like this place was packed at that point. Like everybody wanted to see this band. So the reason now why I think they were Grime God is because then when Negura
Bunget,
Deathburger or whatever went on, who are from Romania, Peter Dinklage was in that band as well.
What?
Right.
Okay.
And so on the other bands on the bill, Grime God is the other band is being listed from Romania. Okay. So now this was super weird. So now when he came out to play with Deathburger, he was playing a Jackson Dinky. And so Dinklage was playing a dinky, and Ivan he's pulling double Dinklage duty, and I'm like, I don't know why that's funny, but it is. So that was super weird. And then so this set was so weird because I guess one of the guys couldn't get in the country, like he had problems with his visa. And so some amount of the show was a track, and part of that was the vocals, but the bass player proceeded to pretend to sing. And it was a lot of bad decisions went into that. And the crowd really thinned out. It was a weird show. It was, I don't know why. Apparently, not a lot of people know who this band is, but I don't know why it sold out because there was nothing.
Well, the funny thing is, I've heard the name and I feel like they've been around a long time, but I'd never actually listened to them. There's one of those names that I've seen on lists of metal bands for like a very long time. So they must have some kind of like been around forever cred.
I don't know. The promo material for the show talks about how they were voted best world metal band in 2013 by some Romanian metal site. It's like, well,
yeah,
okay. And then
plus, how many world metal bands are there?
And then best Romanian metal band by some other Romanian, music website. I'm just like, okay.
All right, Romania.
Yeah, I don't know. So it's super weird. But yeah, and in fact, I asked one of my friends if she was going to go to the show, and she was like, no, because I've seen them a ton of times. I'm like, really? Never heard of this band before the other day. Ivan told me he was going to the show. I was like, okay, it's something to do. Yeah, so that was super weird. So anyway, I've talked about this show for way too long. But the moral of the story is there was some comedy. Don't be disappointed that you didn't make the walk, that you chose your couch over that.
Over Neburngadurgit.
Yeah, Deathburger and the lip syncing. It was really bad. I don't know, man. So I know I've seen so many horrible shows recently. So I went to Nuclear Assault. Okay?
Oh yeah.
So I think it was Dropkick Murphys opened, and I didn't catch that, and then Whiplash, and that was interesting. I did watch their set. That was interesting because the sax. So first, the banter. There was so much banter. To the point where I wanted to yell, I did yell, like, shut up and play.
Yeah.
Because it was just out of control. Because it wasn't Metal Fest banter.
Yeah.
Where they're just talking about metal. It was like, hey, random guy in the crowd, this is New York. Like, let's talk about it. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, man.
It was weird. So, and then the saxophone player, he had this, and I'm gonna get this wrong. I don't know which wild animal print his vest was. If it was leopard or leopards have spots, right? Okay, so
Leopards
it's not
have
leopard.
spots.
So it's probably tiger.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of the zebra thing, but it's not black and white. It's, orange and black. So
Yeah, that
this
would be
tiger stripe.
And then I think any variation on that is like just made up anyway, because I think most of them have.
Yeah, well, I don't think they skinned tiger.
Well, no. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying in general that there's a thing. There's a fashion trend of taking animal prints and then making them a weird color. So it's almost like
like the pink or blue kind of. Yeah. That's some Dolph Ziggler stuff there if you want to tie it into wrestling, which I always do.
But the point was that the saxophonist. Wait, so
from this thrash band.
Okay, so hold on. So the first band was Dropkick Murphys. I know who Dropkick Murphys are.
Yeah.
I saw them once in Wisconsin, I think at the Terrace, at the University of Wisconsin. So, but yeah, they're just like punk, but with this weird, like, we're Irish and like angry and stuff, I guess. All right. But so we go from that to
Whiplash, who are a thrash band. They're okay. So you know how if you're playing a ska band or in a jam band, you're allowed to have 1 million members.
Yeah,
right. But if you play in a thrash band, you're allowed 4 tops. Yeah, it's basically you should be 3 people.
Yeah, because
the bass player should also scream.
Yeah,
but you're allowed to have like 2 guitars, so you can have 4 people. There was at least 7 people on stage, and I think like 2 hype men and a videographer, and like there were way too many people on stage, way too much banter, and then the saxophonist was wearing this tiger. It was the weirdest. I mean, like every thrash show I've ever been to has been so straight ahead. This was super weird.
But was the saxophone the only like randomly non-idiomatic instrument?
Yeah.
So it's just like extraneous dudes, but also like we know a guy who plays saxophone.
Nobody was playing banjo. There, no stand-up bass. No like didgeridoo. It was this dude. But I mean, they were tight. They had they sounded like they knew what they were doing. The crowd loved it. But I was just like, "What's the thrash show? This is weird."
Yeah.
And then Nuclear Assault. So Nuclear Assault were exactly like I went to a thrash show. I expected to see a thrash band. It was exactly what I expected. It was like, okay. Yeah. The highlight of this show actually for me was this dude I saw. He had an original L'Amour's t-shirt, like L'Amour's Brooklyn, the venue. Yeah. For anyone that doesn't know, they had lots of metal shows, and it was a L'Amour Rocks shirt. It was a black t-shirt. It was faded, looked totally original, and he didn't cut the sleeves off. It came without sleeves. I was like, I have to have that shirt. Oh, I keep meaning to go on eBay and try to find. If anyone has one of these shirts, email us. Matt, what's that email address?
Email us at hatemail@yourmusicisbad.com.
I will pay you money for this shirt.
You want to make some money, and you happen to have
a sleeveless
L'Amour's shirt.
And I will know if you just cut the sleeves off a shirt, because it wasn't the reason I know it came like that was because you know how at the end of a shirt, like there's like a cuff, right? And it basically had that, but at the armpit.
Oh shit!
It's amazing. It was amazing. This was fantastic. So yeah, there's not a lot of comedy there. So then we should probably talk about the boat show we went to.
Yeah. So, what Well, basically, this was our third and probably final boat of the season.
Speak for yourself. I've been on a lot of boats.
Oh, okay. Well, this is the third that we went to together. At any rate, yeah, I thought the last one we went to would be like, well, one last boat before the summer's over. And it was like, oh, no, there's more boats.
No, they're getting them in.
Cool, yeah.
Boating season has been extended, kids.
Yeah. Now, this one was a little cheaper than the last few we went on, and we think we figured out why.
Yeah, so... Okay, so first of all, you need to know what kind of show this was. This was a tribute show. So for those of you who are not hip to the lingo, tribute is, I guess, the new, less ashamed way of saying you play in a cover band.
Which is weird because I've always thought it was way worse.
I know.
I always thought it was because, okay, so...
Well, I think, okay, maybe this is it. And again, I haven't looked this up. I just had this idea right now. If you play in a cover band, you conceivably play songs from a bunch of different bands.
Yeah.
Where if you play in a tribute band, I guess you only play songs by one band.
Right, by one band, and hypothetically, you attempt to be extremely accurate in your playing and also appearance.
I guess like the stage
right,
show.
So like the
everything.
measure of a tribute band is like how accurately it recreates the thing that you hypothetically can't see, or maybe you just don't want to spend the money to see.
Or maybe you live in some flyover state that they'll never play.
Yeah. Though it's weird then because unless it's a local tribute, only the only the best tribute bands.
Well, no. So this is the weird. So this is another point about the show. So this is a tribute band. There's two of them, and in my experience, the only people who go see tribute bands in New York City are like total bennies. And admittedly, I do live in New Jersey right now, so I guess I fit the bill. But whatever. We went to the show. So the two bands, the one band, I know some guys in this band, and they've been doing this for a decade, and they're actually really good, is Schism. They're a Tool cover band. And so that's who the drummer, Don, he told me, he's like, we're playing a boat show. And I've actually seen them play that exact same boat like 8 years ago. And I was like, yeah, that's awesome. Let's go. But the opening band was a Pantera cover band whose name was Penntera because they're from Pennsylvania. The building's on fire.
And we'll be right back after this commercial break.
Evacuate the dance floor.
Duke Nukem guy.
Duke Nukem?
It's like he's like the voice actor who did Duke Nukem.
Oh, I thought you meant
like
the
I have
character.
no
St.
idea.
James. It's some weird.
I was like, I'm pretty sure the main character of Duke Nukem is Duke Nukem.
No, the voice actor.
For a second, I was gonna be like, "Can we come up with a segment where we all just do like wrestling voices
Yes.
in order to like, let's all review this album in the style of Macho Man Randy Savage."
As long as I get to be either Ric Flair or JR, I'm good.
You can be JR
whatever
because
you-
I have an amazing Ric Flair. Because
Whoever
you
you feel
keep
comfortable
your
being.
tongue stuck in. He goes, Mean Gene! I did so much cocaine. My face is shisha.
My tongue will no longer stay at the bottom of my mouth.
Oh my God, Ric Flair! It's amazing.
Your boy.
My buddy Jeff.
Yeah, so
who,
that's two wrestling segments.
Who
so
just
far.
got out of rehab. He was
God.
Ric Flair for Halloween recently.
Absolutely, by far, like the most entertaining wrestler ever. There's
yeah.
really no like close second at all. I'm sorry,
No,
wrestling fans if you
no.
disagree, but
My dad would agree. My dad loves Ric Flair, and I didn't, right? Because I was a Hulkamaniac. Because I was
You were a mark?
I was a child.
I
Okay,
always hated Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
I thought he looked like someone's dad. Like
Okay, well-
I was like, what? It's like this. Why is this guy?
for me it
What
was
do
like
people like about this guy?
Undertaker
I don't know.
and Ultimate Warrior and Macho
Oh,
Man.
I loved Ultimate Warrior though.
Yeah, no, I never
Ultimate
liked
Warrior.
Hogan either. I was like, who is this?
I liked the Legion.
Dude.
Parts
I liked the
unknown.
Legion of Doom.
'Cause-
That was a big Legion of Doom mark. I hated Bret Hart too. I hated Bret Hart and I hated Hulkamania.
I always hated Shawn
I was like,
Michaels.
why are these? See, I was a Shawn Michaels mark, but I didn't understand why anyone liked Hogan or Bret Hart. It didn't make sense to me. They were just their whole angle was that they won a lot. Like,
pretty much.
You're like,
So kind of like John Cena.
yeah, who's the worst?
But I actually love John
No,
Cena.
I was also a huge Rick Rude mark.
Yes.
Yeah. No, like when I was a little kid, I liked Surfer Sting, which we talked about.
Yes,
right?
Surfer
Surfer Sting. We talked about that earlier. You missed that. I was Surfer Sting, the Steiner brothers. Right. Little did I know that Scott Steiner would go on to be the most amazing character. Yeah, and then like the Legion of Doom.
Yeah.
Wrestling.
Pay-per-views tonight, man.
Oh my god. I never plug anything, and I don't have any personal connection to this, but that Extreme Wrestling game is fucking awesome. Y'all should play
for
it.
your iPhone.
Yeah.
I'm
I
still
think it's on Android also.
So I'm still refining the way in which I present sort of like the things that
expert.
you
Sorry.
can expect to hear about in this episode. But so far, there was the one episode where I randomly wrote wrestling in there. This one's going to have it in there at least twice in the list. You're like, more wrestling?
It's like
What?
a first. It should be. It's like when you're listing the ingredients.
Yeah.
Like you have to list them in order of concentration. So like metal might be first, but
Yeah.
it might also be wrestling.
There's some wrestling in there.
We talk about that a lot. But
Well, I mean, it's bad, but it's one of those things that's bad, and we love it.
right,
So-
you don't have to feel bad about it
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
There was a Grantland. Did you guys read the Grantland article that was like
Which
why? I don't remember the title, but it's basically like why wrestling's mainstream again now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, they were like Jon Stewart. You sort of can't argue otherwise at that point.
Yeah.
Because he's definitely not believable as like as like a a physical force.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
other things that
So,
aren't believable.
which were
we were talking about why it was so cheap to get on this boat.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
what boat was this?
so this was
It was a metal tribute show at sea. Well,
At sea.
on the river,
international waters.
that
Yeah,
sounds like
still international
70K, but twice as horrible.
No, because
It wasn't
because it's only 3
70K
hours.
either. It's also a far much lighter boat, so it would have been
It's a-
more like
It was
how
right,
many tons of metal do you think that boat is?
like 7 tons?
7 tons of metal.
7 tons of metal.
So we went on the 7 tons of metal
was-
cruise around the harbor.
It's much cheaper. Does not require traveling outside of New York City, and it's a 3-hour tour. So the reason the show was so cheap was because the other tribute band was a Pantera tribute band,
God.
right, from Pennsylvania, whose name were Penntera. And
Like Penn and Teller doing
yeah.
Pantera.
that actually would
would
have
be
been way
amazing.
better.
That would have been way better.
That should be a thing now.
Yeah.
Which one is? I'm the silent one, and you're,
Tellers.
you're the
Yeah.
fat one.
I'm not big enough though, and I'm not that, like
For this, it'll do. you just need an awful jacket. So I guess to sum it up, all right, to borrow a turn of phrase from aspiring Ted Nugent, aka Dave Mustaine, Penntera are Penn-terrible. These guys were really bad. So I've been told that they're nice guys. I don't know. I didn't interact with them.
I try not to factor that into my musical assessments.
They are terrible musicians. That's
Yeah.
all I know. So someone after the set told me that some of the bass players' gear got wet.
Yeah.
And that they were having some technical difficulties. I'm not really sure. This boat had 2 decks, and we were up top on the upper deck. Where there was
upper decking.
we were upper decking with the disco dance floor.
Yeah.
There was
One of these days we need to work in my midnight upper decking story.
Next episode, I think we're going to talk about a festival.
Yeah,
where
we
that
could
might
talk
have
about
happened.
some-
Yeah. My
festival lore.
my great regret in life.
It's
Stay
okay.
tuned.
Well, we can also put the word out that I still want a copy of the video of Midnight's performance.
Oh, who has
Not
it?
to see the
it's right
performance. He probably does.
Oh, that's a whole podcast. Like,
Right. Well, we'll get back to that anyway. Because I'm going to give you the next one. I'm going to give you like the Prog Power highlights.
Yeah, we're
Right
gonna go
on.
through the program.
Yeah.
excellent.
No, but so we're on the upper deck where there's a checkered, like, changing light floor, disco dance floor, surrounded by AstroTurf for some reason.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. So anyway, so Penntera are downstairs playing, and so as Matt pointed out, if you were gonna be bad, right? If you're gonna be a bad Pantera cover band, you there's probably one thing that you have, and that one thing is a dime bag.
Yeah.
And they did not have a dime bag.
Not even a dime bag?
You figure for any tribute act, there's certain things that people are going to, no matter how
Demand. You have to have.
based on what are the
necessities.
things that fans of that are the most obsessed with, and it's usually dime bag. And so you at least need a guy who could like dime bag well, and he
awful.
really didn't. His tone, now not that dime bag's tone is always wonderful and
He
pleasing
didn't
to
have
the
great
ear.
tone, but he had a very specific tone.
Right.
It was a Randall turned all the way up.
Yeah.
It's a solid state Randall, like, cranked.
Yeah, but he didn't have the saturation and like
No, it was oversaturated.
yeah, well, and his harmonics just didn't work.
Well, and he couldn't play the leads. So
Yeah.
the deal was like,
The leads were
there were
really
some
bad.
leads he just left out. The low point of the set, though, was when they tried to play Mouth for War. Because that riff, right? Everybody knows this riff. You slide, like, it's all slides.
Mm-hmm.
There were no slides. He just, like, played the chords. And you're like, this is not really how that goes.
So did the shitty Pantera band have the shittiest part of Pantera down at least? Phil.
Oh, well.
Actually, like, yeah, he was kind of like the least worst part of the band
But
as
he
far
didn't.
as
But he
what
wasn't
pull
trying
off.
to sound like Phil.
Right.
He was just sort of shouting the lyrics.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, I feel like there were a lot of Pantera shows where Phil was just like falling down, messed up. You know. So I mean,
Probably the most accurate part of the performance.
so like, that you gotta. Give, but yeah, the drumming wasn't good. The bass player had technical difficulties, and the Dimebag, he was so bad. He like couldn't. Just skipped a bunch of the solos. The ones he did try to play, you kind of wish he skipped. Like, just the tempo would change during the lead parts.
Yeah.
and just it was just bad. They were really bad. Now, the only thing is, I don't really care about Pantera, so it wasn't like a huge letdown because I was like, oh, this will be bad, and then it was bad just in more parameters than I'd anticipated, but it was still a terrible Pantera show. So yeah, we were hanging out on the upper deck with the disco dance floor. There were a lot of interesting people at this show. I don't even know where to begin. I don't know if you want to say anything about that, Matt. It was because it's one of those that you think maybe they were drinking to forget each other.
Yeah.
We saw some really questionable things.
Yeah, there was a lot of
Like they were just so gross. I don't even want to talk about them.
Yeah, I don't really want to get
So
too much
it
into
wasn't
the
the
horrible
normal like
spectacles.
drinking to relive the 80s. It was drinking to forget
No.
the now.
Well, first of all, it was towards the 90s, but they were still not necessarily like.
Oh, a lot of these people were from the 80s.
Yeah.
though.
Well, yeah, exactly. No,
That's
some
what
of them are from the
I'm
The
80s.
woman with the
but-
feathered, with the like seriously feathered, like done up hair, like she's been
yeah.
maintaining that. There's
Right,
been
yeah.
under active maintenance.
Right. It was like there was like an older part of the crowd, and then there was the sort of younger part, but those were all just like probably dudes who wanted to
Get drunk to
get
Pantera
drunk
on
into
a boat.
Pantera. Yeah.
But so here's the deal, right? It was only $25 a person, and the thing is, been on a lot of boats this year, as we pointed out. This one was the cheapest, and like I said, I go, do you get a discount for having to listen to Pantera?
Well, the rinse thing we went to was only like $30.
Well, that's tiered pricing. So
Oh,
if you
yeah.
bought a
Yeah, we
ticket
bought
super early, it
Yeah.
would have only been 20. But the last round, everybody had to pay 40.
Got it.
So yeah, no, it was $25, and I literally, if it weren't for the fact that I'd been on this boat before to see
Yeah.
Schism before, that would be my working theory.
Yeah.
Pantera.
And we talked about Schism is we're not going to talk a lot about them because they were actually pretty
Right.
much
Well,
pretty good. Like
And if you care, you've
Yeah.
seen them by now because they've been doing this,
Yeah.
they've been doing it for a decade. And so the deal was, we were upstairs where you don't see the band, and they've got it down.
Yeah.
It's pretty much, I was like, it's like if you'd gone to see Tool at an arena show and you were so far back that you can't really see the band. Like,
well, and
it's
also
approximate to that.
Yeah. And which I saw, I could see that when I saw Tool in either 99 or 2000 at Ozfest.
Yeah, so did I.
And I remember I could see them, but there wasn't much to see.
This is actually one of the worst shows I ever saw. In the spirit of the podcast, it was one of the worst shows I ever saw.
Really?
They stood on stage and their instruments fed back for like 40 minutes, but it wasn't like, oh, sorry, we're having these feedback. They only played like 3 songs. They just kind of stood there, and there was some, but it wasn't cool like saturated music noise. It was just
they didn't care.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
if they were in St. Louis, would you care?
part of their live thing sometimes seems to be like, okay, we groove or whatever, so we'll just groove so hard that we'll just let shit feed back and like, because we're so into the groove. But I was so into seeing some other bands
Like Ozzy.
Yeah, I've never been in
or Megadeth. I think that was the time I saw Megadeth, and the first time I saw Megadeth,
Right, and
it was
Marty Friedman.
Marty Friedman,
Oh, wow.
and Dave hadn't gone insane yet. It was pretty awesome.
He hadn't let on.
Well, okay, sorry, he hadn't gone.
on.
He hadn't gone his like third stage insane, right? Because okay, Dave Mustaine's probably always been insane.
He wasn't like
but,
Fox News
right?
insane.
But he was like early, like Dave, like damn the man insane, and I'm okay with that Dave insane.
We need a nickname for him because like Ted Nugent's the
aspiring,
Nuge.
aspiring to
We could
new
just call him the
Nuge.
Stain.
No, I
Nuge?
call him
No,
new
the Stain.
Nuge.
Stain.
The Stain.
Stain.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Stain.
I like this. I also like new Nuge just because I'm big
Yeah.
into alliteration. Also, it's like new Nuge on Fox News.
New Nuge on Fox News.
He's like third on the call list, right? You can't. The Nuge is bow hunting and doesn't have
'Cause he's number 1.
reception. Ted Cruz is at some event, so then you call. call Dave Mustaine.
Brocky used to be on
right,
Fox
but-
News all the time. I missed that.
In character.
Yeah, that was the best.
He's also dead.
If you haven't seen that, totally go watch that on YouTube. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Schism, like they did their thing, and it's solid. If you wish you could see Tool, and you can't, then you should go see this band.
And if you want to see Tool without probably paying a ridiculous amount of money or dealing with their live show, although I mean some of their fans love their weird live shit.
Everyone I talked to
I'm trying to
believe
remember.
me. They were like, it's the best show. I'm like, it was the worst show I ever saw.
I'm trying to remember if when I saw him, I think he might have been like painted blue or something.
He was wearing a diaper when I saw them.
Okay.
What?
Yeah.
I think right. I mean, he was basically like,
And not like he was like, by the way, guys, had a rough night wearing an adult diaper. No, he was on stage without pants, without a shirt.
yeah.
wearing a
I think
diaper.
he might have been in underwear, although it might have been the same diaper. I was far
The
away.
same you were. I
I mean, not literally the same diaper. I assume he probably changes them.
It's a stage,
or
it
has
could've been a
someone
stage-
change him.
Could have been a stage diaper.
Right.
At least just make it interesting and come out in like the sock.
Yeah, but he
The
was.
fucking diaper.
Yeah,
But he
Red Hot Chili
was.
Peppers.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he was painted blue. And I mean, it's always something to do with obscuring his like identity, which it's like everyone knows who you are and what you
Right,
look
you're
like.
the lead
It's
singer
not-
on this band.
Yeah,
He
it's not
didn't.
really
He
a thing
didn't make
anymore.
the tryouts in the Blue Man Group. That's really
Right. Well, that was the thing. Like, I don't know if when did Blue Man start? Because
a long ass time ago.
I don't. But like late '90s. Because I
it's
don't
been around
remember
long.
if I
Right,
had
'cause
Blue
this
Man
was
jokes.
16 years ago. Yeah.
Right, but I feel like I don't remember being like Blue Man. I remember like just being like, "What the fuck are you doing?" and my biggest thing was always any attempt to get into Tool. My barrier to entry was the guitar, because the guitar was the least technical part. It was completely antithetical to my interest in guitar. And so again, that dude just standing on stage, just letting shit feed back. I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? And why is everyone like jerking off so hard to this?
Yeah,
Well,
so
it's
I
the same
but-
reason like people like Fish. I mean, there's just terrible bands
Yeah.
that people
Well,
love.
I don't.
Well, I like
don't,
Tool.
Right.
I
I don't.
legitimately
No, no.
like Tool.
I don't.
I just don't like Tool the way
Live.
everyone else
Right,
likes Tool.
right. I
Likes
have-
Tool. They're a band I will listen to. They're not like, dude, the greatest band
Yeah,
ever.
I have
And
no
their live
problem
show
with
is terrible.
Tool on record, like literally on their records. But yeah, live it was just like, what the fuck? And people, but then people buy into the whole hype and cult of personality and like it's kind of funny that Maynard again is so obsessed with being like nobody knows who I really am or what I look like. It's like, yeah, but instead your fans are obsessed with how cool it is that nobody knows who you are, what you look
that
like,
really-
even though they all do.
Is that really a thing? Because I was gonna say he's like everyone knows what King Diamond looks like.
Right.
I feel like everyone knows what if you.
Well, they
care,
do
dude.
now.
'Cause
But
it's
the
not
point
like-
is, his whole thing was right. Like it basically didn't work.
it's not like the dude who wrote Gravity's Rainbow.
Right. It's
The
basically.
author. Why I'm so embarrassed that
I don't know
forget
what
this now.
that is.
Thomas Pynchon,
Oh yeah,
the
yeah.
dude who
Oh,
his
right,
whole
right.
life has avoided like having his.
Right. But
You're not working that level,
Right.
so like don't try.
well, and
give
even
up.
like
Exactly.
right. It's so basically
your angle is bad.
the window. So there's I think there's a window where this was kind of a thing because the only other examples I can think of are like Daft Punk, who to some degree, although I've seen what they look like, man, but they just look like a couple of like French kids. So who cares, right? But the main thing is they were like, we are getting huge. Let's not get stopped everywhere we go, which supposedly Maynard's whole thing is, right? Like, I don't want my kids to blah, 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 blah. But it's like, too bad, dude. Like you didn't wear a mask your entire career. You're not Buckethead. Okay. There's the other one. But it always comes down to like, oh, if you did see what they looked like, you'd be like, oh, okay. Right? Like it's always a dumb thing to be like, no one knows what my face looks like. Unless like Daft Punk is the one case where it almost makes sense because of how hugely famous they are. And because they're making extremely pop oriented music that is very, successful in a big way. Whereas Tool was always like, they got big, but like, again, yeah, if you're a Tool fan, he didn't hide his face very well, right?
It wasn't
so
like...
it clearly became part of the shtick to be like, well, that plus art reasons is why I'm painted blue. And he sat on the floor like most of the time too. I don't know if he did that for years, but
I don't remember.
so like
but maybe
diaper
Again, this
or
was
underwear, painted blue, sitting on the
16 years
floor.
ago.
Great performance, guys. Just so really was into how he sat on the floor and like kind of rocked back and forth a bunch.
Yeah, it was pretty awful. It was
yeah.
pretty awful.
But yeah, exactly. So probably better to see Schism in some
that's what I'm
cases
saying.
if
I've
you
seen
just
them.
want to hear their
They're
music and not be like, what the fuck are you doing? But if you really are into jerking off to like every little artistic nuance of Tool, then yeah, my thing was more that I do think it is a thing among their fans to think that that's super cool, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what I've heard from Tool fans is being like, and actually most of my Tool fan exposure was dudes from Queensryche channel.
Oh,
Back
really?
in the day, because there's some dudes there who were really into Tool.
I don't remember.
And they were always telling me about it, and I'm like, dude, boring guitars. What do you want? Like that's what I
Probably-
want. It's not there. Sorry.
Same people who think Jeff Tate still got it.
No.
Really?
That's a different. No.
Right, that's
I
a-
would not insult
those-
any of the people
those
I'm thinking
groups
of
are
by.
orthogonal.
Yeah. No. They were all clearly team all the other dudes.
Got it.
Yeah, but no, I don't know. Tool's an interesting thing. But yeah, so Schism was fine.
There was one. I actually have one complaint.
Yeah.
Okay. The show was on a boat. They didn't play "Learn to Swim."
Oh yeah.
The song, the title's actually it's the title track from that album.
Yeah.
But everyone knows it as "Learn to Swim"
because he says it like
'Cause-
50 times.
Right, because that's the
Repeat stuff.
repeat stuff.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
We kept being like, they're gonna close with it.
Yeah. It was super weird.
They
It's
were
also
gonna
like one of the
dock.
biggest hits they had.
Right, we're gonna dock and they're gonna play "Learn to Swim."
Yeah. Like.
They played sober, but they didn't play.
Do they just do all their shows on boats now? Because they used to do BB Kings all the time. And
I don't know because the last time I saw them on the boat was 8 years ago, and then
Okay.
I saw them at Gramercy. I think I saw them one other place. I can't remember. They not all. I know for a fact not all their shows are on boats because they played a show yesterday at some like Jersey State Fair-ish type
But
thing.
I
Yeah.
feel like what you're saying is we should start a yacht rock band that only performs on boats.
You mean in international waters?
It only performs in international waters.
You mean the name of the band is
it's
International Waters,
Yeah.
And yes, and you can only see us on a boat in international waters.
or somewhere that we mistakenly
Or
think
on
is
water, because that's what we usually think that means.
So if we play like some rooftop with a pool, is that
If the pool is big
I will
enough
play
that,
on
that
on like a raft in the pool.
There can be a floater on the pool, and yeah, we can have like the back line
I'll
off,
have a
out-
wireless. And just
wireless.
Be like,
Yeah, we can just wireless to. Well, did you see there was a video from the last 70,000 tons of metal of it was one of these like, oh, look how cool this is, and it was Herman Lee from Dragon Force, and he like got on somebody's shoulders in the pool or whatever. But then I saw it and I was like, he's using a wireless, so that's not even like dangerous. And then like, but the big thing wasn't so much that when I actually watched it, I was like, he's not even playing cool shit. He's just doing the same over the top little like trills so he can play over the top of the neck. And like, yeah, he got wet, but so I don't know.
Goes to a metal show.
Yeah.
Only dudes get wet.
I think so on point, by the way.
I know.
Yes.
We need to find an embassy that has a rooftop pool so that it's not, within the U.S.
Yeah. So we can be like, it's technically international water. That is brilliant.
If you are a foreign government with an embassy with a rooftop pool, we want to book a show.
Especially if you are very smooth. What is the smoothest country that's not America?
Oh man. I don't know. I mean,
what's the smoothest export?
I mean,
is it oil?
Musically, I feel like we get a lot of smoothness from Sweden, but
whatever. We should just go play it. Does Colombia have an embassy?
Should find out.
Yeah.
Bolivia, Belize.
I feel like some Mediterranean island, or like North Africa,
Albania.
Yeah. Montenegro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty smooth.
Yeah, they're pretty smooth.
That's pretty smooth.
Maybe we should form our own nation.
All right, so do we expend the shows?
No.
Oh, yeah, more shows?
There's another show.
I actually was not at a show, but outside a show. Rancid played Terminal 5 on Friday night. Yeah. And it was my friend's birthday, and they all went. So I was waiting outside because I had to work out.
Dignity?
Yeah.
Oh, damn it.
And I swear, like, half of New Jersey and Nassau and Suffolk County was at that show. It was like...
Yeah.
Well, the other half was... Well, they couldn't all fit on the boat. Was the problem.
Like 40-year-old fat, like hardcore dudes. Hate mail at yourmusicisbad.com, by the way.
Did you hear it? Was it one of those deals where even though you're outside, you could hear it?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they play the hits?
I guess I was only there for like 10 minutes. I have more dignity than you guys think. I really don't like that band. My friends like them. It's whatever.
I hate Rancid. I hate anything that could remotely be in the orbit of ska because of my childhood.
Like ska and like surf rock, or just
surf rock.
What was that surf rock show we accidentally ended up at?
No,
years ago.
No, it was the Secret Chiefs show where they happened to play a surf set. There's a lot I could say about Secret Chiefs.
Wait, did we go to that deliberately? I feel like we did.
Kayo Dot opened.
Oh yeah.
And Toby was playing in both bands at the time. Yeah. And then they opened with the surf song, and we were like, okay. And then they played another surf song, and we were like,
and another.
And then they played a third one, and we headed for the exit. It was.
I think Gigi was at that show.
Yeah, Mr. D was there too.
Oh yeah.
It was everybody came out for that show, but it's another show for another time. No, I got to talk about the show yesterday. So, oh man, there's so much. I literally have more to say about the show. It encompasses more time than the amount of time I was at the show. So some guys I went to grad school with. That should set this up for you. It should set the scene. So for everyone listening that doesn't know, I went to a very prestigious school that has a not very prestigious music school that I went to, but people don't know that they don't make that delineation, and it's opened a lot of doors for me.
Yeah,
and it's really weird because it's the thing everyone is impressed by, and I really don't want to be like, yeah, you really shouldn't be impressed. I'm like, you go ahead and be impressed until I know you a little better, and then I'll tell you, yeah, you really shouldn't be impressed by that. So these guys I went to grad school with, they a few of them are living in JC, sorry, I gotta look this up because I don't even remember this guy's name. This was so painful. So they were playing. It was an all-day event. It was all day around Jersey City, and it was this piece. It's called "Perfect Lives," and it was originally a television opera, like an opera for TV, by Robert Ashley, who 20th century composer. So now I love bizarre 20th century music, like Schnittke, Goodbye to Lena, Wolfgang Rehm, all this kind of stuff. It's my favorite. But just like heavy metal, only like a very, 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 very tiny percentage that happens to get it right. And the rest is bad. But whereas metal, a lot of it is just pedestrian metal by numbers where you're like, this is dumb. A lot of the contemporary concert music that misses the mark is offensively bad. It's painful to listen to stuff like Carter or Wernin. And Ashley, I didn't know any of his music. So I didn't look it up or anything because I figured it was probably bad because it's usually a low percentage play. And they had events all over the city. It was these little scenes, I guess you would say, around the city at different times. And one of them was at a grocery store less than a block away from me. And so originally when I saw the schedule, I thought, yeah, I'll be a good friend and I'll go to that one. And then I totally forgot about it. So what ended up happening was I happened to leave the house as they were like setting up. And so I decide I'll kill two birds with one stone. I needed to do some grocery shopping. So I proceeded to be that guy who's like in the way while they're in the way of my grocery shopping. I don't have words that sum up this experience because it was so bad. When you're at music school, you have to sit through all these like composition recitals where student composers write just horrible crap, and you think, okay, well, with their student works, whatever. They're here to learn. They're finding out what does and doesn't work. Okay, but you know it's bad, whatever. But when you go see things where this is a production, like people have spent a lot of time on this, they're looking forward to it. It's a big deal, and then you go and see it, and you feel bad for them. And I sort of had this revelation because we're there, and it's this, they did it in. It's kind of hard to explain, like a snake. There's just like a long trail of musicians, and then there's a guy at the front with a wireless mic. And no one is for being an opera. I heard no singing. There was a lot of weird spoken word, and then there'd be like a short violin line, and then like a random brass note. Like it was I listen to stuff where people will ask me, they're like, "Is this music?" That is a frequent question I get. Yeah. Okay, because I listen to like a lot of noise music and stuff. This is the definition of like, is this music? Yeah. Because it didn't even have it was literally some dude talking to you outside a practice room. Because dude, there's random there was no thematic connection as far as I could tell. And it was so weird because so all these people showed up to see this, and then there's everyone that's in the thing. And so presumably they're all either into it or at least some way interested in it. And then I'm interacting with the store employees who are clearly not having it. because it's absurd bullshit. I sort of had this feeling where I'm like, okay, I get it. At school, like you're just doing whatever. You're just shopping, and like maybe you didn't even want to do something. You just had to do something because of this assignment. This was literally like, this is either everyone doing this either has nothing better to do or doesn't have to do anything else. It was this weird sense of like, who is this for? It was so confusing. It was one of the worst things I've seen. Again, that's saying a lot because I went to music school where I saw like a lot of awful stuff where I just didn't know what the point was. Yeah. But I feel like that stuff is at least contained to like a concert hall. Whereas this
There's
was
no innocent bystanders.
this was in a grocery store
situation.
You're subjecting civilians to this.
I walked through that to pick out yams, but at the I felt really and so people were recording video on their cell phone. So I hope some video pops up. I'm gonna go look actually pretty soon on the internet. Hopefully there's video pops up when they're like, and this jerk shopping. I'm like, I was actually knew about this show and just didn't give a shit once it was happening. I was like, you know what's more important that I buy yams right now. I didn't push my way over to the bananas because they kind of like the snake had that like surround. I was like, I live next door. I'll just be back later. I did come back later and buy a bunch of bananas, but it was so bad. And so it was one of those deals where I immediately felt vindicated about having forgotten that this was happening and not planning on going to any of the other scenes. And it was just, I don't know. I wish you people could hear this. So I then did some research because I was like, okay, maybe this was like this is like the weird interlude scene, in a grocery store. And I went on Wikipedia. I tried to figure out what this thing was about. The more I read about it, the more I was like, no, I'm sure the rest of it was nonsensical bullshit.
Like, you just got more confused or just
in a
less
way,
interested? Or both.
Certain things would become... Actually, yeah. Certain things would become elucidated, and then other things would make less sense. And my level of caring, like, quickly went from 0 to nothing. Like, it was just...
So how much worse was this than that, like, Kayo Dot Recording show we went to?
So the Kayo Dot Recording show is also one of the worst shows I've ever been to. So what Eric's talking about is that a few years ago they had this show in Brooklyn. This was like 2009.
Something like that,
It was like 2009. They had this show in Brooklyn where they wanted crowd participation for whatever recording
Banging
they were
garbage
making.
cans.
Well, no, but they held up cue cards.
Yeah.
And they wanted everyone to chant like a something.
Yeah, but there were like two sides of the room.
Right.
But the sound was terrible and they didn't have like, I think more than one mic to record it.
Well, right, and the idea was dumb, and they played the set twice, so that they had a better chance of getting a decent recording. Whatever, I doubt they did. I never went to look up whatever the thing was because it was so bad. But they played the first set, and we were kind of like, "Yeah, this is really happening." And then we walked out front and sort of heard the second set, and we're like, "There are people still participating," because it was awful. No, this was worse than that because
impressive
because. That at least, it was bad, but at the same time there was a logical progression, right? Things were being played, and then people were supposed to do things at times. This was literally like some guy was shouting at you outside a practice room, and it also prevented me from purchasing bananas. So it's like,
I'd be pissed too. I mean, that's really important.
I was
Gotta have your bananas, bro. It's important for recovery.
They are, man. I need that potassium.
Yeah.
It was but the thing is, I know that everyone that was participating in this too is a highly skilled, perhaps educated concert musician. There's a lot of things they could be doing.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason they were doing this. And
I hope that it was at least a paying gig. But probably not.
I don't know. I mean, if I had to bet, I would say no. I would bet that if it did pay, it was like, no, I guarantee you, everyone combined, like, got paid less than like you'd normally make just going to a shift at work.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was very strange.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely one of the issues with the 20th century. Well, I mean, it's the 21st century, but 20th century music is still a thing. Yeah, it was 20th century. Yeah.
No, resource allocation is a problem. I don't care if you're in a terrible band. If you want to spend your time playing in a terrible band, like, whatever. You could have spent that time playing video games or watching TV or something. Like, who cares?
It's a hobby.
Yeah, but
Right, but
when you use up orchestral resources,
Right.
which are in acute short supply,
Yeah.
I have plenty of orchestral music that hasn't been played. If anyone wants to come play it, that's where it's kind of like, why?
Yeah, that's
Frustrating,
unfortunate.
but whatever. I have not yet talked to anyone and asked, so what possessed you to do that? Because they might not take that the right way. But, I mean, and I'm sure if any of them listen to this, like I had a reputation at school for being a total hater. It was funny. I was actually hanging out with this guy that I went to grad school with, like a couple years. Like this was like 2 years ago, so years after grad school. And he was like, "Yeah, I know you like hated everything. Is there music that you actually like?" And I'm like, "Yes, thank you for asking. Let's listen to some of it." And he was like, "Oh, this is amazing." I'm like, "Yeah, you know how everything we listened at school was just awful? Like, serious problem. Like, and some of it is so difficult. Like, if you never heard Fernie Howe, that stuff is not only terrible, it requires months of practice. It is beyond.
You have to work hard to be terrible.
Difficult to play.
Wow.
Right. And the thing is, and a lot of people, I feel like it's almost an exercise in postmodern absurdity, because I feel like the deal is, I can't tell if you're playing the right notes or not. So if someone gave me that score and was like, show up in place, I'd be like, I'm just pricing this. Right? Because nobody's going to be like, dude, you're all over the place. And I'd be like, I know, look at the score. And then it'd be like,
the chart, man.
Show me where I went wrong. What section do you want me to work on?
Yeah, cool. Which note was wrong? Yeah. Which note? Which bar? Which
was it the 64ths all run together real up high that have nothing to do but with anyone else's playing? Oh no, it's the 128ths against your 72nds. Like it's just there's
That's insane.
no. Seriously, like a Fernie House score. Like people always like talk about like Zappa and the Black Page.
Yeah.
It's like this was like not a joke though.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was, and he's so good at sticking to it. But I feel like the joke's on anyone who either listens to it or more so on people who play it. Because
Yeah.
it's like this is what you decided to do with your life. Like
Yes.
take that to the grave.
You feel like there's some sort of like confirmation bias going on where people just play all this terrible music and then think it's,
Well,
this is music.
I think there's
This is music.
there's a problem with
Credentials.
yeah, and people getting into something and then not really being able to discern what makes it so good. I mean, you see the same thing in prog, right? Where there's a huge bunch of prog fans who don't even agree with the difference in people being prog versus progressive. And while that's largely a semantic argument, at the same time, like if you take away the words, it's still a thing. That's basically true, right? There a bunch of bands started adding non-rock influences to rock music, and it was considered progressive. And then for a while, it was also just called art rock, which is like, yeah, we're trying to make art and still play rock and roll. How could you possibly do that?
Art and roll, bro.
There's a project we've been working on for a little while.
Right.
An art project?
Right.
An art project.
But
It
so
will come
It's
to
totally
fruition.
progressive.
Yeah.
bros.
It is wicked progressive.
we'll have to just do an episode on bands we made up.
I'm totally down. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so it's the same thing. So some people just, again, it's the reason that some of these bands that they sound like prog, and so they're prog metal, prog rock, because they painted it by numbers.
Well,
But they, as well as their audience, can't really hear the difference.
I'm not sure it's the same thing because a lot of people who listen to that who don't really have much of a music education or exposure, they think that music is subjectively
but here's the
good.
thing. Even if you but here's the thing that I found out in music school. Just because you go to music school doesn't mean you actually have perspective on music. A lot of those people are just training which directly ties into the thing you were talking about, and the thing I recently read that Frank Zappa was saying. They're basically just training to play Mozart for the rest of their life, because that's the only way they're going to be able to make a living at it, right?
Yeah.
And
Well, and a lot of times that's what they like.
right,
And so then so this is another problem. The main problem with programming, contemporary concert music is when it's hard to realize the music in the first place. So you're just looking at the score, trying to make a determination, which that can be difficult.
Yeah.
Because especially as the music gets weirder and weirder, it's harder to imagine what it sounds like without playing it. But then again, since the orchestra is such an oversubscribed resource, so who, like, you can't just look at every score ever. So then you have to sort of say, well, okay, we need to apply some filter mechanism. So that filter mechanism usually ends up being, well, who's most credentialed? Because especially when so many arts organizations are underwritten by like corporate donors and stuff. So if, you know, the CEO of Citibank, whatever, shows up your thing and he's like, this is terrible, you can be like, right, but he's got all these degrees, like from Yale and Harvard. Like, you went to those schools, right? Like, and then
he'll go, oh, I guess I just don't understand it.
Right, I guess I just don't know enough to appreciate it. And that's seriously a line that I've heard from so many people. I'm like, no, you know enough to know that is awful. Yeah. Like, and if you don't, get your ears checked because there's something wrong there. And so then the other thing, the flip side of that though, is so then these musicians get tasked with that. A lot of them hate all contemporary stuff. Like they went to music school because they like Mahler. Yeah. You know, and it's like they like big, lush, pretty orchestra music. And it's like, okay, well, we already have recordings of that stuff. Yeah. But luckily for you, orchestras mostly play museum pieces. And so for them, it's like if you've ever had some corporate job where you actually like your job, but then there's this one function that happens twice a year where you have to come in on Saturday and do it, and everyone hates it. And it's like, you just put up with that for the rest. That's what modern music is to a lot of people who are playing in orchestras. Is they're like, well, 99% of the time we get to play Mahler and other pretty music, and then we have to play the contemporary noise. And it's like, but in a way, their opinion is actually justified because the stuff they're being asked to play is legitimately terrible. Yeah. So I don't know. It's a big problem. I'll fix it when I have a few million more dollars working on it. Yeah. Yeah. And until then you can feel bad. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, it's the same thing where like well, like the thing that, like, I don't know, surprised me was how many people who were studying music, and then if you tell them you write songs, they're still amazed. Like it's a magic trick, you know, like it's a superpower. Like, oh, you write music? Like, yeah, it's like we take the same theory class where they basically tell you how most popular music is structured and basically why it's structured that way. So there you go. That's the formula.
Not everybody can write, though. I mean,
no, but if a computer can write tonal music, there is a formula. Right. We know it. Right.
Just follow it.
There are plugins now that will basically just follow the changes you type in at them.
But it's the same as the people that you meet. They're like, oh, I could never play piano or I could never play guitar. It's like, well, did you try?
Not with that attitude.
Well, no, but it's like, well, but I couldn't either. Right. And I just did it a bunch until eventually it got easier.
Yeah. Well, like I think, I've always had this. I had this weird thing where like, I just never thought that. Right. I think that's like a big part of getting good at something is just being like, no, I think I could.
You just got to do it.
I could do that.
I mean, if Viper,
it might take a while,
can record 350 something albums in 1 year, 15 songs each, you can write music.
Well, right, exactly.
You probably shouldn't write
music. It might
music.
be bad.
Like you shouldn't.
Right.
But you can do it.
It's not hard easy to create music.
Yeah.
This is music.
This is music.
That guy, man. That guy's an inspiration. I mean, he's terrible. Yeah. But oh man.
Well, right, no, but that he should be that kind of inspiration. It should be like, wait a minute, if this guy can just crank out and people still, and again,
he's making a
society
lot of
still accepts it as he has created music, right? That's the thing. There's no differentiation between like, you made music, but it's really bad. So he made music. I can't make music.
I mean, Kanye must be better. Kanye's done so much for music visually. I mean, so just
yeah.